Dear participants, our second resource person of the evening are Dr. Srinivas Vendamiri. He's an assistant professor with a PhD degree from the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, India. He worked as the assistant professor of English in India and abroad. His areas of interest are English language education and literature. Today, his lecture is on plagiarism and ethical issues. Welcome, sir, in this FDP.
Am I audible, ma'am? Could you please confirm?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Very good evening to one and all, the organizers and the participants, the previous speakers, Professor Deepak sir and Dr. Rasha. Dr. Rasha has touched every important aspect of plagiarism, and she gave the entire information pertaining to plagiarism. Now I'm going to deal with certain aspects, and I'll also use this session to make you understand how to cite and how you have to give give an academic look to your research papers. So in this, can you see my slides, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Right. So in this plagiarism and ethical issues, since Dr. Rasha has touched most of the important aspects of plagiarism, so let me ask you, what is plagiarism? Instead of I give you, the definitions, let me ask you, let us be interactive. So I'll be very happy to take some of your responses here. Can you please give certain definitions, how exactly you perceive plagiarism? At least one or two, responses in the chat box. I got one response here. So, ma'am, can you please read it out? I cannot see it now.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay. So in my point of view, plagiarism, it means we try to make everybody or someone else work as our ideas. So we make or we take other ideas and then we claim that that is ours. So that is plagiarism in my point of view.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Noah. And ma'am, Anupama ma'am defines like this: plagiarism is citing someone's work without giving credit to the original writer. True. So if anybody wants to give some more definitions, copying someone's narrative without citing his her name. Yes, Manjari Singh. Yeah. If you look at all these definitions as told by Noah Aini ma'am or Anupama ma'am or Manjari ma'am, one thing is very common here. The common thing is, even Sabia Mufti ma'am writes, plagiarism has vast explanation someone's work without giving credit to the original writer. See, we are using different kinds of vocabulary to define or determine what exactly plagiarism is. But if you want to use an umbrella term, you can use an umbrella term like stolen source. Without giving proper citations, without acknowledging the original author, we pretend to be the original author of that particular idea or content. So it's nothing but stolen ideas or stolen sources. And as we are into very respectable profession, as Deepak Thakur sir nicely explained about the duties of the teachers, and we are not expected to steal information in academics. That is not expected from the teachers. So we need to we need to give proper citation when we are using somebody's ideas, somebody's thoughts, somebody's results of the research. If we are using those results, opinions, or views, we have to give proper citation. So that is uh, you know, a proper way of doing research. So that's how you can avoid plagiarism. What is plagiarism? So this is nothing but stolen information. And what is not plagiarism? This is more important. What is not plagiarism? And Dr. Rasha, in to great extent, she explained everything. What is plagiarism and how we have to tackle in this, and how the international conventions are defining this plagiarism and what kind of punishments are there. She has shed light upon each and every important aspect pertaining to plagiarism. What I'm going to do here, I'm just asking you, I'm just appealing to every single participant in this conclave, the excellent academic conclave, to remember three important things. Three important things always should be there in our minds while we are writing the research papers. So SPQ are the letters: summarize, paraphrase, quote. What is not plagiarism? If you are taking a source and you are trying to make a summary out of that source, so that is not the exact explanation or narrative given by the author. You are trying to make it short. You are trying to justify it, and you just give a summary of that particular writer or particular narrative. So that is summarize. So summarization is always shorter than the original source. And how you have to avoid plagiarism, you can summarize. And most of the times, when you are writing literature review, this is a very challenging task for many researchers. When we are asked to write literature review, sometimes we get confused how to go about. Sometimes we don't know what to write. And sometimes, some of the students, they end up taking the original text without citing. So instead of doing that, we can ask our students, if they are writing the research papers, we can train them how to summarize, how to write, just a summary of a research paper. So in the form of review, we can give hands-on training to the students to write summaries of different research papers. In fact, I wanted to bring an exercise to this classroom, but due to the time constraint, I'm not going to conduct that. But I'll definitely, inform or try to tell you how exactly you can work when it comes to writing research papers or teaching, your students how to do research. So summarizing is one method where you can avoid plagiarism. One thing. And the second important thing is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing, sometimes it may be, shorter, or it may be longer than the original text. When it comes to paraphrasing, our students are very smart. If you look at this generation, they are very smart. And we have different websites. Like there is one site called, in that site, if you use your text, the text will be rewritten, and that will work on a mechanism of finding some synonyms of every single word in the writing. So that's how it gives you the results. But what happens? Can somebody please tell me what is the danger in using this method? Can somebody please, help me? What exactly happens if you are using a website like Spinbolt? If a student is simply finding the synonyms of each word, if the student is asked to paraphrase, he is not exactly paraphrasing, but he is trying to find synonyms of, yes, idea remains same. Idea remains same. I appreciate Neem Kumar Mahas. Exactly, idea will be same. What happens? What is the danger of this practice? Can I have some more inputs from the participants? I know you are spending, the most precious time. You have taken out your very precious Sunday time, and you are attending this session. And I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to share my insights, which can be useful for practical purposes. So, yeah, idea will be same. Idea will be same. there will be a danger. There will be a danger. Definitely, there will be a danger if you are, you know, just changing the words. It's just cheating, not research. Yes, Anita ma'am, not exactly. I'll tell you why. His essence is not used in the research at last. Plagiarism software are now smart research. Exactly, Priya, Jagadish, ma'am. Yes, plagiarism softwares like Turnitin and Urkun. These are the softwares they are able to catch the plagiarism. If you are changing just the words, if you are trying to replace the words with synonyms, they'll be caught by not only by the websites, not only by the apps, even the essence. Somebody has correctly mentioned the essence will be lost. It is an act of theft or plagiarism. Not exactly, Manjari ma'am. I'll explain how exactly it works. Paraphrase. So paraphrasing has to be done. We need to ask our students to read the entire research paper, and we need to ask them to comprehend, then write the ask them to paraphrase. We can ask them to write paraphrase text. Then what happens? The essence of the discipline won't be missed. The essence of the discipline won't be missed. For example, since we are into teaching domain, we have specific meanings for specific words. For example, teacher. Teacher has a specific meaning. When it comes to trainer, trainer has a specific meaning. Let me read out Elizabeth Johnson, ma'am. The student does not learn anything, nor may even take time to read a text at all. Yes, there is a possibility. Yes, there is a possibility. So yeah, because mission says the original thinking will be hampered. Yes, yes. But the actual objective of paraphrasing the text is not to hamper the meaning, not to hamper the meaning. The meaning should not be hampered. That's what I'm trying to explain now. So when it comes to teaching domain, we have two words like teacher and a trainer. Trainer has some meaning and the teacher has some meaning. And if you are using the websites where it spin bolts the text very blindly without understanding the terms teacher and trainer, we use these terms contextually. We will not lose that contextual sense. That's more important. If you are paraphrasing humanly without depending on technology, you will understand the essence of each and every word, whether a particular word has to be changed or not. If you try to spin bold the text, what exactly happens here? In the place of teacher, the trainer will come. So the essence will go. The essence will be lost. So in order to retain that essence, students are encouraged to read the entire research paper, and they are asked to reproduce the text with their own words. When it comes to words, we cannot use any loose language when it comes to academic writing. We have a particular genre when it comes to academic writing. So that area has to be strengthened among the students. So then students can reproduce the text. This is one method. The first method is summarizing the text. I'll answer the questions of Manjari ma'am and Anita ma'am. Some people paraphrasing is bad. That is the perception what we have. Paraphrasing is bad, but not exactly. I'm trying to justify it. When it comes to quotations, I'll just explain it after talking about quotations. Quotations, what exactly we do is while writing the research papers, if we want to use any quotations, anybody's quotations, we can take the quotation. We can use the quotation marks. And even if you come across any grammatical change in that quotation, we are not supposed to change. We are using the quotation exactly given by the original author, writer, thinker, whatever. So we are not supposed to change a single bit of that quotation. It has to be used as it is. The meaning of quotation is that. Sometimes most of the teachers are from English teaching domain, if I'm not wrong. So they feel that we have the habit of correcting everything. English teachers, when they come across any wrong sentence, grammatically wrong sentence, we have the habit of correcting it. But if you are taking quotation of somebody which has some grammatical or punctuational errors, we are not supposed to change anything. We have to use the exact quotation. If you are taking a one full page quotation, where you feel the first sentence and the last sentence of that page is suitable for your work and the rest of the work is not related, not required, then you can simply use parentheses, three dots in between first and last sentence, and the at the end of your practice you will get only two sentences, first and second, with parentheses which are separated by parentheses, three dots. So this is how we have to use the quotations. Now I think all of you are using the laptops, if I'm not wrong. All of you are using the laptops. So yeah, summarize, paraphrase, quote with citation. This is very important, with citation. So as Manjari ma'am, Anita ma'am, and some other faculty members raised, paraphrasing is not a good practice. Yes, it is absolutely not a good practice when we are not giving citation. But when we are giving citation, there is nothing wrong in paraphrasing. So we can train our students to write the summaries of a research paper. We can train our students to paraphrase a research paper. We can also train our students to use the code SPQ. This is how we can avoid plagiarism from our research paper. And you can give citation, as Dr. Rasha correctly mentioned. The citation, the acknowledgement of the author can be given either at the beginning or at the ending of the quotation of that particular writer. So you cannot simply claim ownership just because you are paraphrasing. Language might be yours, but the ideas are not yours. You have taken these ideas from someone else. So it is the duty of the researcher to give acknowledgement to the original author, original writer. So this is how we have to give summarization, paraphrasing, and quotations. After taking these three things into consideration, do not forget that the citations must be given either at the beginning or we have to give citation. I think, is it clear? Are there any doubts pertaining to paraphrasing, whether it is good or bad? Yeah, cut and paste without reading the text, or conduct the survey, or other empirical tools and techniques. Nice, thank you. Yeah, this is how we have to go ahead. Now, let me know how many of you are using the laptops. I request every one of you to open your Microsoft Docs, MS Docs. I request every one of you to open your Microsoft Sheets documents. I'm going to teach you something very important. You can use it for practical purposes. I request every single participant, please let me know whether you have opened your laptops, whether you have opened your Microsoft documents. Please let me know. Please let me know. Ma'am, can you please confirm whether you are able to see this doc, MS Doc?
Yes, sir.
So I request every single participant to open these, MS Word doc. Here, I'm going to teach you how to give citation. This is, a very important thing for every researcher. We write research papers and we send research papers to different journals and for different academic purposes. At the end of every research paper, I have taken some random text here from Hindu newspaper. At the end of the research paper, if you look at the citations, if you look at the references or bibliography, you simply give, most of the students give like that. And this is very important. This is one of the important quality of a researcher. How you are giving your citation, that's more important. And you have wonderful sources pertaining to giving citations. You have Mendeley, you have EBSCO, you have Jstor. For example, I'll show you Jstor. In this Jstor, you have, I think many colleges have access to Jstor. When you open this Jstor, you just click on this site. This will ask you whether you want MLA style, Modern Language Association, whether you want APA style, whether you want Chicago style. You can simply copy and paste at the end of your research paper under the label of citations or references. You don't have any trouble here. If you are using Mendeley, if you are using EBSCO, which preserves all of your research papers and books, that will automatically generate and that will give you the citation style. And the difficulty of citation styles, if you take MLA, it has different punctuation marks for research papers. It has different punctuation marks for books. It has different punctuation marks for book chapters. And it's very difficult to remember each and every punctuation mark here. So you don't even have to depend on Jstor, EBSCO, Mendeley. This resource person is giving, all these things, and we don't know anything about them. You don't have to worry. I'm going to give you a simple technique to give an academic look to your research paper. Just open your MS Word documents. Let me see the responses. How many of you opened? Yes, yeah, I got a couple of you. So you can take some random text, any random text, and I'm going to teach you, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to help you out in giving citations. Here, you just click here. This is, for example, this is the text taken from a source, and you want to cite that source. For example, you think that this is the summarized one. You have written summary of a research paper, and it is mandatory to acknowledge the author. It's very important to give proper credit to the original author. And here I'm giving the credit. How you have to give credit? You have multiple options in Microsoft Word. You have one option called references. If you click references, you will get an option called insert citation. Just click on that insert citation, then you will get add new resource. So in this, are you able to see this window, ma'am? Can you see this window?
Yes, sir.
Now you have different kinds of sources: book section, journal article, article in periodical, conference proceeding, report, website, document. These are all types of sources. You can use all these sources in your research paper. Now I'm using one book, right? So this is the book, for example. This book, author name is David Crystal. David Crystal has written wonderful books on English language. So the book title is Global English. Example sake, the text is different and the citation is different. But for example's sake, I'm giving you. So this book got published some 2002 or somewhere around 2000. City is New York. City is London, for example. State London. And publisher name is Oxford University Publication. Oxford University Publication. Right? This is how you have to type. If you want to give more information, then you have different fields here. You just click on show all bibliography fields. If you click on that, you will get some more details pertaining to this citation. All right? So this is how you have to give the details. Right? Then click OK button. You automatically get citation. You don't have to write manually. So what is the use of using this particular insert citation option? The beauty of this particular thing is you simply go to bibliography after writing your research paper. You simply go to bibliography option. I'm sorry, Kindly bear with me, my system is a little slow. So click on citation. So you will get citation automatically, right? So you don't have to remember the punctuation marks where you have to keep a comma, full stop, and brackets, then full stop, how you have to write your title. So this is in APS style. So you have given some other citations too, like add source, and you are taking something like a journal article. Author is, for example, again Hutchinson. Hutchinson is a wonderful writer on pedagogy. Hutchinson, and curriculum development is the book. It's the journal article. Sorry, curriculum development is the title of his research paper. For example, the journal name is Jstor. So which year it got published? For example, this publication was in 2014. Pages you have to give page number some 75 to 85 are the page numbers. So you can give the citation here. Now you have Hutchinson 2014. Now you already have references list, right? How to add this, the new one? You don't have to worry, you simply click on this, you'll get it. This is how you have to manage your references. We should not give simply, the website name or book title or the author. And now look at this. This is in APS style. The reason is the title of their research works in italics. So this is in APS style. If you want to convert into MLS style, you don't want APS style. You just go to this option. There is one option under manage sources. You have one option like APA. Look at this. You want to convert all of your references into MLS style. Click on this. It will be converted into MLS style. Look at this. All the publication years are at the last. So this is how you can manage your references. So give a try while you are writing your research papers. You will not have any difficulty in handling these things, and you don't even have to require the softwares or apps like Mendeley. I have Mendeley with me, and EBSCO, and Jstor, and different kinds of citation and footnote. Yeah, ma'am, sir, footnote is a different thing. Ruth YP. So coming to footnotes, yes, you have an option here, giving a footnote. The problem with footnote is this cannot be reflected in your references. If you are not giving the citation but giving the footnote, it won't be reflected in references. And let me tell you, as per American Psychological Association, APA style, they simply say that we don't require any footnotes. It is the process of simplification. We are evolving in terms of research papers. If you think from the reader's perspective, if you are given a text and there is some number or asterisk on a particular word and you are directed to read something, some explanation which is given at the bottom of the page. It's very difficult. You just have to track the text and you have to look at the explanation at the bottom of the page. It's very difficult to do that. So APA format, we don't have to write footnotes. But in some disciplines like law and many other disciplines, it varies from information from university to university. So you just have to check the policy of your university, whether they are asking you to follow footnote process or not. If they are asking you to follow MLS style, you don't have to worry. You just give MLS. You don't have to worry. I'm sorry. If they are asking you to follow APS style, you don't have to worry about this footnote in business. You can simply do it out. You don't have to follow rules and regulations pertaining to that. But only thing you have to remember is if you're asked to give footnotes, then you have to, consciously put efforts to include everything in your references. So you have to go in manual manner. So APA style, you don't have to follow footnoting process. You can simply, give citation after completion of every statement. If they want to look at the explanation, you can give end notes. They can go to end notes and they can read it. So it is a process of simplification. So this is the difference between footnotes and citations. So this is how you have to maintain your citations. So I think this is beneficial. Please let me know how it was helpful, this particular exercise. How many of you have done this exercise and how many of you got results? I requested all the participants to open your laptops or desktops, and I requested you to do this exercise. Please let me know how many of you got results. At least one or two results. Please, anyone? I'm happy to receive these comments or compliments, but let me know whether you got the results by using this MS Word. Yes, I got one response. Yes, Karamble, yes, Binu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your responses. Yes, got results. Yes, saves a lot of labor. Yes, you're right. So you don't have to worry, about how to give citations, how to, keep all these punctuation marks in your mind. You can simply manage your research papers in this manner, right? And you have to, how to cite. I was talking about how to cite. Then coming to credible sources versus dubious sources. When we participated in a conference, Anita Sharma ma'am was there. She was the chair. She was chairing a session. And one student, I still remember, one student presented a paper and that student brought some citation from Wikipedia. And ma'am and myself, we suggested that student to not bring any quotations from Wikipedia. I still remember that, ma'am. So yes, we should not use dubious sources. Sometimes we get messages, UNESCO has just declared some XYZ, and we don't even think about the connection between UNESCO and that particular information circulated in our WhatsApp groups. So when it comes to producing information, contributing to the discipline, we always have to depend on credible sources. We are not supposed to depend on any dubious source. I'm using the term dubious. You cannot simply trust that for your research paper. And as we are the teachers, we are expected to give authentic information. We are supposed to depend on credible sources instead of depending on dubious sources. What are the credible sources? Can I get some responses from you? What are the credible sources in your understanding? What are the credible sources? Yes, citing the author is very important. You have to give citation. But what kind of sources we are supposed to take? Wikipedia is one. You have Wikipedia. So what are the credible sources in your understanding? Which can be verified? Yes, Wikipedia can be verified because Wikipedia can be verified. Credible sources are those which have proper and authentic citation. Very good. Yes, ma'am. Anupama, ma'am. It's right. Yes. They have, proper, they are very credible and yes, primary scholarly journals. Very good. Scholarly journals. Primary, Rajana Yadav, primary and secondary sources are different. When it comes to the credible sources, journals, yes. Yeah. As Reena ma'am correctly mentioned, journals, academic journals, very prominent and popular academic journals we can depend on. Yes, Jstor, very good. Rajna Yadav, Jstor. I'm using right now, I'm using Jstor. So you have Jstor also. You can simply take some journals from Jstor. Web of Science, very good. Web of Science, Scopus. We have different categories of journals. So Scopus and Web of Science journals are considered to be the very standard journals. And our university is making our job Yeah, Taylor and Francis, yes, Thompson and Reuters, and there are many, many, many. And UGC has come up with a very comprehensive policy pertaining to plagiarism, and they are also taking care of the list of the journals, and they have given a wonderful list, that is UGC care list. Look at the term care list. So you will be cared by UGC. So you cannot be trapped by any dubious journal. So when you are depending on the sources, you can look at the background of the particular journal, whether it belongs to academic institutions, or it's an independent one, whether it has its place in academic world. So just look at every aspect, then you can consider whether you have to depend on that particular source or not. When it comes to dubious sources, we have multiple dubious sources, and we are not supposed to depend on dubious sources. The first and foremost dubious source is Wikipedia. Why Wikipedia is a dubious source? Because if you publish something in your personal blog, if you publish something in your website, for example, if I claim Dr. Srinivas Bandamidi is an extraordinary human being, don't ask me how. But I have my own blog, personal blog, and I just blow my own trumpet in my blog, and I try to use the blog as a citation in Wikipedia, and I can just use that particular tag, an extraordinary human being. How? There is no answer for that. So Wikipedia is always dubious. Please do not depend on Wikipedia. And coming to personal blogs also, do not, please do not depend on personal blogs too. Personal blogs, they have a lot of colors. So we are not supposed to depend on personal blogs. And avoid any biased article. Biased. So this is the term used, biased. How do you determine a particular write-up is biased or inclined towards one particular section, or very subjective? How do you decide one particular writer is very biased? Can I have one or two responses here in the chat box? How do you determine one particular text is very biased? Anyone, please, one or two responses. I appreciate your responses. So far, you have given wonderful responses. So, my simple question, how do you decide some write-up is very biased? And you have to, you are supposed. If he is favoring one and disfavoring the other, very good, because Meshram sir, very good, wonderful answer. But how do you figure out he is favoring somebody and he is disfavoring somebody? How do you decide that? So as we are the, don't know sir, yeah, Binu, yes ma'am. When you look at the academic writing, the gamut of academic writing, if you look at any academic research paper, the first quality is using less number of adjectives and adverbs. If you are coming, any text is supposed to be biased when the inclination is towards one particular thought in a prejudiced manner. Yes, not to an extent. Yes, as we are the human beings, we may not do away with the biases what we have inside. But when we are presenting something in very academic manner, we have to minimize it at least. We have to minimize it. So that is the idea, Anupama. So coming to these biases, identifying the biases, you have an excellent tool as you are the English teachers. Many of you are, I assume, are the English teachers. So you can simply figure out the number of adjectives, number of adverbs that are used in that particular item. So simply you can arrive at a conclusion, this particular item is completely biased. So you don't have to depend on that. So yeah, this is how you have to decide something is biased, something is unbiased, something is dubious, and something is credible information. So,
Excuse me,
yes ma'am, Marpit Kaur.
I request you to please wind up as our next resource person is in pipeline.
Yes, ma'am. I respect your time.
Thank you, sir.
We are running short of time. This is where I'm concluding my presentation. In this my presentation, I try to explain, I try to solicit some definitions from you pertaining to plagiarism, and many of you have given excellent idea about plagiarism, and I just try to share my insights, how to summarize, how to paraphrase, how to quote, and most importantly, not forgetting giving citation, right? And I also try to explain how to cite by using MS Word, a simple tool which you have, which everybody has in fact. And I try to explain what are the credible sources and dubious sources. And with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thanks to Ananda, especially ma'am, Anita Sharma ma'am, for inviting me to this wonderful academic uh, place. And I'm really happy to be one among this August gathering. I'm really thankful. Thank you very much. And I thank all the participants for quick responses you have given when you are asked. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivas sir. It was really wonderful hearing you. And I really have, learned a few things today, which I was actually doing manually. Now, definitely, I'm going to do it as you have, actually taught us today. It was really wonderful. I think there are a few questions, so Manpreet ma'am, please kindly take up those questions.
Yes.
Few questions are there in the chat box.
Okay.
If you could see, otherwise, I'll read them.
Yeah. I'll try
Yes,
to answer.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So many compliments, sir, for you. So that's why
Thank you.
ma'am is also finding it difficult to search the question. There is a question by Dr. Prakash Patil, sir.
Yes.
If you could get it, or may I read it?
Could you please?
Ma'am, I'm not, I could not
You're
get
not
that.
getting it? Okay. Prakash Patil, sir, is asking Srinivas, sir, about plagiarism. There is a variation in different universities, sir. What do you think about common percentage? Does UGC should give guidelines in this context?
UGC has given guidelines, ma'am. Up to 10% it is permissible. More than 10%, there are different levels of punishments. There are different levels of punishments. Not just discouraging, even punishments are given by the academic council constituted by UGC. If any teacher or any researcher or any student is caught with plagiarism issues, 10% is the standard one. And if it is exceeding 10%, then it attracts the legal provisions that are mentioned by UGC.
I think there was another question by Ruth Weifel. This you have already,
Yes.
answered while you are presenting. Kindly elaborate on the difference between citation and footnote. I think this has already been, discussed in your presentation. So, any of the participants, if would like to ask, you can
There
unmute.
is one more question,
Yeah, there is one.
sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, SV Rishikeshan, that why we mention our name in the top flush right, and what is its
Yes.
use? That there
Quite
is one
interesting
question.
question.
I didn't get this question, ma'am. Can you please?
This is from SV Rishikesan, sir.
Yeah.
He's asking why we mentioned our name in the top flush right while presenting the paper. No, please tell me, sir, what is the use? Putting your name below that, title of the paper, and we always put it on the what sir is saying, top flush
Top
right,
flush right, yeah.
on the right side. He means to say. I think there is no such hard and fast rule, but still,
Yes.
it is the most common, commonly being cited, things. So people normally write like this. But if you apply for this corpus index journals, or if you are presenting a paper in an international conference, I think they wanted whole the detail to be below the title, and that is in the middle of the paper. This is what I know. Srinivas sir is going to throw more light on this.
I am not sure, ma'am, why we are using right side. Sometimes we also put our name in the middle of our title also. I think there is no specific rule. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I don't think there is a specific rule pertaining to this. If anybody knows, I'm ready to take that insight from you. Any particular reason behind it, I'll be very happy to learn from you.
Okay.
Sir, there is another question from Priya Jagdishan. She says, how to avoid using adjectives and adverbs while summarizing and paraphrasing our own thoughts.
Don't use. We are not supposed to use adjectives and adverbs, ma'am. We are not supposed to use. I'm sorry. So
Okay.
we have to minimize the number of adjectives, even reporting also. If we read the newspaper article, for example, from Hindu, I have taken one particular news article, today's Hindu. If you look at any news article, if I ask you, if I give you any task to figure out some adjectives and adverbs, so the number of adjectives and adverbs will be very limited. Very limited. I'm not saying there will be total absence, but there will be less number. So this is how we have to decrease the number of adjectives and adverbs in academic writing.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really having nice this lecture on plagiarism and ethical issues. This is the need of hour actually. It was a wonderful deliberation from your side. Thank you. We would love to have your more lectures on this topic or other topics. It was wonderful. You taught us the technical part. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, sir.
Thanks to the organizers and participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Be safe.
Thank you.